The Wheeling Plan Commission meeting for Thursday, October 17th, 2013 is called to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Secretary, would you please call roll?
Commissioner Dorband.
I'm here.
Commissioner Johnson, I am here. Commissioner Powers.
I'm here.
Commissioner Schaff.
I'm here.
Commissioner Stylen.
Here.
Commissioner Zangara.
I am here.
And Chairman Rafat.
Here. Mr. Jennings, any changes to the agenda?
Have no changes this evening.
Okay, great, thank you. Number 5, citizens' concerns and comments. No one. Thank you, Brooke. Consent items, we have none, so we'll go right into items for review, calling docket number 2013-18. Referred back to the Plan Commission at the 10/7/2013 board meeting. Stella's Lexington Common LLC, 1081 Lake Cook Road, special use site plan approval for a sit-down restaurant with entertainment. Mr. Jennings.
Thank you. Before I have the petitioner come up, just a quick recap. The Plan Commission held a public hearing on this item, recommending approval subject to conditions of the special use and recommending that the parking variation be denied. Those two recommendations were then forwarded to the village board. The village board reviewed the recommendations and in the discussion with the petitioner offered to reduce the seat count, thereby making the variation unnecessary. The village board referred the item back to the Plan Commission to take a look at the revised floor plan, as well as the plan for the smoking area outside of the unit. At this time, the petitioners are here to review those two items and are seeking a recommendation to return to the board. I did receive a letter following the board meeting that appears to have been sent right before the board meeting. Is a Ms. Joan Percaro in the audience? I received a letter from Joan Percaro requesting, and I'll just paraphrase, that the commission not grant permission for Stella's to take the former 7-Eleven White Hen store on the Lexington Commons property. I understand this establishment will be serving alcohol and would allow gambling until 2 a.m. I don't think this is something I would look forward to as a resident of Lexington Commons. And that is the extent of my comments.
Mr. Leff.
Good evening.
Yes. It's your platform, sir.
So as Andrew said, at the board meeting on 10/7, the board was wondering why we're going after a parking variance right after, I guess, they had changed the ordinance for parking there. Is that correct, Andrew? I believe, and asked if it would, basically, I forget exactly how it came up, but asked if it would be possible to get to a seat count that wouldn't require variance. We're very comfortable. We said, we had looked at this before the meeting, we're very comfortable taking it to a seat count of 30, which I believe does not require a parking variance, and that's what this plan here reflects, is a seat count of 30, including all the gaming terminals and the 5 additional movable ottomans, or poofs as we sometimes refer to them as. And then on this plan, it doesn't show up, or here it is, right there. The last time we were here, we did not have a smoking area, which was requested. We've worked with the landlord and designated this space right here as a smoking bench / smoking area.
Anything else?
Again, we believe we're a light use. We believe our demographic is not a heavy drinking crowd. We don't believe we'll have any issues with noise or any other activities that will bother the residents any more than any other retail establishment would. So we kindly request the Planning Commission to approve our use here.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on this? Okay. We'll go to Plan Commission. We'll start with Commissioner Zangara.
I see everything. The only question I have is the designated area you did for smoking, is that because it's under the canopy and not put on the other side of the, on the other side?
We thought that was a easy and safe area, given the depth of the sidewalk and 15 feet from either entrance. If there was a strong preference to put it on the other side, I don't think we'd have an issue with that.
I just feel on the side there, then you avoid any people walking across to go to any of the other, that is the main drag to come in. That would be my one suggestion. I would prefer to see that smoking over on the west side there.
Yeah, that, we would not have an issue with that, and unfortunately, the landlord couldn't make it, but based on our conversations, I don't believe they would have an issue with that either.
Okay. Otherwise, everything else I think is pretty good for me. That's all I had was the smoking issue.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Powers.
Thank you. I guess I would agree too with the smoking area possibly on the other side that Commissioner Zangara referenced. Andrew, what hours did we have set for this again?
9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. midnight, Friday and Saturday.
Okay. The only other question I had was the indication of a dry storage area on the plan. I assume if they're going to work with the health department to get that in there, is on this particular plan, is there a dry storage area indicated on the plan?
Yeah, it's not fully indicated. This is some dry storage, and we would have additional dry storage along these walls here.
Okay.
So we have plenty of space for it. It's not all designated on the plan, but there's plenty of space for it on the plan.
Does that need to be an enclosed area, Andrew, with like doors on it or anything like that?
It needs to be separated. I believe the code requirement is 3 walls separated from the food preparation area.
And it's a code requirement, Andrew, so that before the petitioner gets permitting, that's got to be all reviewed,
Right.
correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Okay, I have no further questions.
Commissioner Dorban.
I have no other questions.
Commissioner Schaaf.
I have no questions, but I do agree that I prefer the smoking area over there on the west side.
Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you. Can you give us an update on how your other places are going? Is anything open
So
yet?
we have now had, finally, we've gotten out of the pile, so to speak, with the gaming board. We've had 6 sites inspected, including our location in Hoffman Estates, which we showed pictures of. We expect to be approved on those first 6 locations at next week's board meeting, which is next Thursday, and have those locations opened up within 2 to 4 weeks. And the other locations in Wheeling, we believe will be opened up, pending cooperation with the IGB, probably within the next 3 months. Like I said last time, I think it'll be sometime in January.
Thank you. I have no other questions at this point.
Commissioner Stalin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With the hours of operation that we're currently recommending, I have no problems with moving the smoking area to, I guess that would be the west side of the building. However, if the hours of operation were ever extended to the 1 a.m., 2 a.m. time that they had originally requested, then I think that we should put the smoking area in the front of the building so the direct sound path to the neighbors' windows in the rear would be blocked. So, but I'm okay with moving it as long as we have these particular hours of operation.
And to that point, Commissioner Stalin, I think that's why we wanted it on the north side as it was.
Correct.
from the very beginning, is why we wanted to keep it away from the residents and have the sound reflect to the north, not towards the homes to the west and to the south. That was the original intent, correct?
Correct.
So based upon that, I would like to take a poll as to, I'm sorry, Commissioner Steinle, are you done?
Yes, I'm done, thank you.
I'd like to take a poll on that because I feel that the location that they have presented is a more viable location for the residents in that area. So I'm going to take a poll and to leave it where it is, which is on the north side of the building, or on the west, or move it to the west side. So Commissioner Dorban, would you like to have it moved or stay where it's at?
Stay where it's at.
Commissioner Zangara?
I'd like to see it move.
Move it. Commissioner Johnson?
Stay.
Commissioner Steilen?
If I given a choice, I'll have it stay.
Okay. Commissioner Powers?
I'll have it stay.
Commissioner Schaaf?
Have it stay.
As I will, so it'll be what the plan shows right now. Thank you. Are there any other, I have no other questions or comments. Do I hear a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Steilen, seconded by Commissioner Schaaf. Mr. Secretary?
Commissioner Steilen?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaaf?
Yes.
Commissioner Dorband?
No.
Commissioner Johnson, I vote no. Commissioner Powers?
Yes.
Commissioner Zangara?
Yes.
And Chairman Rufato?
Yes.
5 yes, 2 no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And although there was not a hearing necessarily, if we could just close that again to be sure.
Okay, motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Calling docket number 2013-19, continued from 9/26/2013. Planning Commission meeting without discussion. La Authentica, Moshia Kana, 20 West Dundee Road, special use site plan approval for an ice cream restaurant. Mr. Secretary.
Docket number 2013-19, David Castellan, owner of La Authentica Michoacana, lessee, is seeking special use site plan approval as required under Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19-06 Commercial Districts, Chapter 19-10 Use Regulations, Chapter 19-12 Site Plan Approval Requirements, and associated sections in order to establish an ice cream restaurant at 20 West Dundee Road. Standards for special use. Zoning special use as defined in Title 19 of the Village of Wheeling zoning is a use of a parcel of land that requires review and consideration before approval due to circumstances or effects on the surrounding properties that may adversely affect them. In order to be considered for a special use, the petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at the public hearing why their request meets the conditions of the village code, including but not limited to how the proposed use will not damage the enjoyment or use of the surrounding properties. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that their request for a special use meets the standards established in Title 19. The commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting materials submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the village board. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Jennings?
Thank you. There were a couple of items during the preliminary review that we worked on the petitioner with, the petitioner, I should say. The seat count in the original proposal was 28. We reviewed the parking calculations for the shopping center and determined that would require a variation. We spoke with the petitioner. They elected to reduce the seat count so that a variation would not be necessary. So there is some inconsistency in that regard. So there is a condition of approval, just clarifying that the seat count is as shown on the floor plan and not as the original project description. With that, I'd like to call the petitioner forward.
Hello. Are you both going to speak tonight?
I'm the architect, just in
Yeah.
case any
Okay,
questions.
so if you could both raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you give tonight to be the truth?
Yes.
If you could each give your name and business address to our recording secretary, that would be very helpful.
David Castellan, 20 West Dundee Road, CASTLAN. Business 20 West Dundee Road.
The platform is yours, sir.
Well, maybe you should be the one speaking, you're a little more familiar with what's going on over here.
Again, yeah, he's the owner. I'm just the architect for the establishment. I've worked with him for several years now and doing these small ice cream parlors facilities. It's very authentic ice cream from Mexico, or, flavor, they choose in Mexico. Flavored water, same thing. Ice cream and popsicles. Those are the three items that we mostly sell. So again, it's very, family-oriented business, very small. We make the product there on the site and, put it in our coolers and, offer it to the public. So very simple business.
Okay. Anything else, sir?
No, I mean, we're actually seeing some of the requirements that you guys had, and as I was talking to my architect, I don't think we have any issues with them. We'll comply with them.
Okay, great. Somebody likes it or doesn't like it. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on this matter?
Except the dog.
Dog or a turkey?
The dog.
I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah.
It's somebody that really wants some ice cream, I guess. I don't know. If not, we'll go to the commission. Commissioner Powers.
Thank you. Looking at the floor plan, again, dry storage, is there any dry storage indication on this plan right now, Andrew? I see an item J on the plan that says something about storage racks. Is that the dry
Yeah,
storage?
we usually have a lot of our product moves fairly quick. We do have, we do need to provide a small area for dry storage, and I was telling the client, we have, I could play with the plan a little bit and maybe eliminate one of the coolers if we had to.
Okay, so you're aware of what the requirements are and you'll address it
and that's pretty
accordingly?
common in all the health, all health department facilities throughout, the northern Illinois area. They ask for a small area.
Okay,
So,
that's
yeah,
fine.
that's no problem. I'm willing to provide that somewhere in the new plan.
On the report we have from staff, they mentioned that we're looking for a location of a trash receptacle outside.
Yeah, now, reading the report, is that something by the door, meaning the front door,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. We eliminated those two tables close to the storefront window, so yeah, that leaves plenty of room there. I wasn't sure if it was that or the main dumpster in the back.
This was in reference to the area immediately outside of the store.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Outside the store, not inside
That
the
was
store?
the idea.
Okay. Hours of operation, any idea?
10 to 10. 10 a.m., 10 p.m. every
7
day.
days a week?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, when would you anticipate opening?
Probably the way things are going, I would say late February, early March.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't take long to build, mostly the bathrooms is the biggest item, but yeah, 2 months usually.
Okay.
Once we
Thank
get
you. I have no
started.
further questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Dorbin?
I don't think I have any other questions. I think they've been answered. No, I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Schaaf?
Thank you. Is there any provision for outside tables?
Most of our facilities don't have any. There are times in the summer we do put a little round table for 2 chairs out there, because a lot of the public comes in, they get their ice cream on a nice sunny day, and they usually take it to go. They don't hang around much, or they don't sit. We don't have a lot of sit-down clientele.
Because
no,
that's what I'm saying, because
It'd be nice.
there's not a lot of space there.
No, there isn't.
There's a big
No.
wall there to the west.
Yeah, no, there isn't a lot of space to put there. I mean, it looks like a 6-foot sidewalk at the most.
Yeah.
You take up a couple of feet with a small table and then leave 4 feet, and, you want at least.
And there's not
5 foot
much
area.
traffic because of that wall. That wall kind of impedes traffic, but I was just wondering if you had any plans on putting an outside table or two.
No, it's not in our current plan at all. I mean, we actually, I think we only have one that we, in the summer, stick one out there and put it back, in and out every day.
Right.
So,
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
and we're willing to bring you guys some samples if you guys want to try and wait till the decision. Let us know if it's good.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson?
I had the question about the outdoor seating as well, so I have nothing else. Thanks.
Commissioner Stalin?
I had the same concern about outdoor seating. I mean, I'd like you to have some and maybe make up for those 4 seats on the inside that you didn't have. And if, a table might be a little too small, but maybe a park bench or something like that where people can sit down outside and enjoy, and you don't need a variation to have a few outdoor seats. So.
No, that's a good idea. Yeah, a bench would probably definitely work.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Zangara?
I really have nothing. They will come back to us with signage, though? That'd be separate?
Yes, they would.
Okay. Then I have nothing at this point.
Thank you.
Good video machines here too? Those are video games?
No.
Only if you're putting liquor in your ice cream.
Yeah, we'll spike the ice cream.
Park, the bench, Andrew, would they probably have to visit the village hall to do that? To put a bench or even a small table?
Sure, we have, now that has been approved, we have a new administrative approval process that was just granted by the board. So now our staff can approve outdoor seating. So yes, we would have a sign off for it, and we would review it. Whether or not there's a permit required for it, we would still do an administrative sign off.
Right.
Acknowledging that those seats are outdoor seats and can't be moved indoors in the winter. So, but yes, they would come to us. We would double check the width of the sidewalk to make sure that they have 5 feet clear if there's any seats added.
So it'd be nothing that you would have to attend another meeting?
Okay,
It's all administrative
yeah,
within the community development?
okay.
I have no other questions. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Powers, seconded by Commissioner Johnson. Mr. Secretary?
Prior to calling the roll on this, we did have the conditions from the staff report. Maximum number of indoor seats shall be 20 as shown on the floor plan. Trash receptacle will be located near the public entrance of the store. Number 3, a separate dry storage area equal to 25% of the food preparation and warewashing areas shall be provided. I had during the discussion, hours of operation shall be 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily.
Great, thank you. Now you can take the roll.
Now I can. Motion was made by
Commissioner Powers.
Commissioner Powers. Commissioner Powers.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson is yes. Commissioner Dorband.
Yes?
Commissioner Schaaf.
Yes.
Commissioner Stylen.
Yes.
Commissioner Zangara.
Yes.
And Chairman Raffato.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. You'll have something to sign.
Okay.
We need a motion to close, please.
Motion to close.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Calling docket number 2013-23, Gerber Residence, 223, excuse me, Center Avenue, variation from Title 19 zoning relating to driveway regulations. Mr. Secretary.
Docket 2013-23, Peter Gerba, petitioner for Anthony Gerba, owner, is seeking a variation from Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19-04 Residential Districts, Section 19-04 or 19.04.010F, General Regulations for Single-Family Districts, Number 1, in order to construct a driveway that extends beyond the front plane of the house at 223 Center Avenue. Standards for a variation. A zoning variation is intended to be a method of adjustment to equalize regulations where Title 19 of the Village of Wheeling zoning has created an unnecessary hardship. A variation is designed to allow affected property owners of the same rights and privileges that others enjoy in the same zoning district. In order to be granted a variation, a petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at the public hearing why their request meets the conditions of the village code, including, but not limited to, how their individual situation is unique or unusual. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that their request for variation meets the standards established in Title 19. The commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting material submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the village board.
Mr. Jennings.
Thank you. Just to clarify, before we hand it over to the petitioner, the regulation that Mr. Gerber is seeking a variation from is relatively new. Within the last few years, there were a couple of minor changes to the residential driveway regulations. One of them related to the width of the driveway. As you may recall, there was a driveway width regulation that was related both to the overall width of the property as a percentage, as well as a 30-foot maximum. This particular driveway does meet that requirement and would not need a variation from that. The other item that was added was relating to rear access of properties that did not have a detached rear garage. That is the variation Mr. Gerber is seeking a variation, excuse me. That's the regulation that Mr. Gerber is seeking a variation from, specifically to allow the driveway to extend beyond the front plane of the house and not for the purpose of providing access to a rear garage. So this is the first time I believe we've actually had a request related to it, so I just wanted to make sure that it was clearly understood by the commission and the petitioner what was being asked.
Great, thank you. Are you both going to be speaking tonight?
My father is bilingual. He doesn't speak English very well.
Okay.
So me and Peter Gerba, I would be
If you
answering.
could raise your hand, please. Do you swear the testimony you give tonight to be the truth?
I do.
Okay, and if you could give your name and address to our secretary, please, thank you.
My name is Peter Gerba. Peter Gerba, that's Gerba, G-U-R-B-A. And my address is 3241 RFD, Long Grove, Illinois, 60047.
Thank you. It's the platform is yours, sir.
I would like to have at least one parking space next to the house because that is the only area where I could park flat on the surface. My mother is very elderly and she's very sick. My father is very sick too, but weak, which I should say. So am I. So if I go to a doctor, the garage doors usually don't open. I have difficulties with the garage door opener, and I would like to have a parking space outside that I could pull in, because if I go to the doctor's office or anywhere else, I might be very tired, and getting my mother to bed, parking only 2 hours on the side street is not enough, and also if I have family members, they're also not the best health, and it's only 2-hour parking, so anybody pretty much I invite, it's like 2-hour parking, or I have to call in every time and register or whatnot, and my father doesn't really speak English, nor does most of my family members, and that would make it very difficult to call in and make it legal to stand more than 2 hours for a visit, or going in and out if I have troubles with the garage door, especially in the wintertime. I would like to prevent any accidents. And I have a permit for a 6-foot board-on-board already that would be isolated on the side. There are trees on the side that would not be touched, and 6 foot in the front with a small gate.
Is there anything else, sir? No? Okay. Is there anyone in the, we do have a list here. If you could just step back, sir, and sit in the first row.
Christine Dogopole?
It's nice to see you again. Oh, I don't have to swear in, do I?
Yes, you do. You swear
You
that
do?
you do.
Okay.
Even though you've been here a couple of times.
Oh, I've been here more than a couple of times.
It expires each time you walk out the door.
thank you. Okay.
Do you swear the testimony you give tonight to be the truth?
So help me God, yes, I do. You all know me, Christine Dalgable, 216 East Center Avenue. I assume you've all received my October 7th letter. Before I start, I just want you to know, I don't sit out there to watch what's going on in front of that house. I live directly across from it and have basically off and on since 1949. This is a beautiful picture, but it doesn't quite show you what actually is there most of the time. When I open and close my blinds, open the door, working in the garage, working in the yard, I have a bird's eye view. Okay, after purchasing the property, the petitioner put in a patio block driveway and used it to store old Mercedes vehicles. He did that in his former home on Wolf Road, where he repaired cars. The cars were stored almost toward the end of that patio block driveway, toward the house next door. But now there's a wooden fence up there, so I don't know if there are cars back there or not. Currently, there are 2 vans and 2 cars on the property. I don't know if the property owner owns those vans or his tenants do. At night, one of the vans is usually on the driveway, the other is on the patio block driveway. The owner's car is sometimes in the garage and sometimes on the patio block driveway. A red car is also sometimes in the driveway and sometimes on the patio block driveway. to the reason that he needs a flat space so that elderly people can get in and out of the car is a bit disingenuous, since the garage can hold 2 cars. I'm very familiar with that house and the property, as is my neighbor, as is Mrs. Elaine Simpson, whose property immediately to the east will be impacted by this. The house is large. There's a huge basement. There's plenty of room for storage. When the garage doors are open, there's a lot of garage sale stuff on one bin in the garage, and usually a car in the other slot. I don't know if he's working on these cars inside, if they're his vehicles. I don't know. I've been told not even to bring that up, but I'm sorry, I think you need to have the facts. The petitioner shovels and snow blows that sloping driveway. He doesn't seem to have a problem walking on it. In the spring, he's on his hands and knees digging out dandelions. So I have not seen him be, impaired in any way. My letter included a statement about flooding at the stormwater grate down at the corner of Center Avenue and Willie Avenue. The addition of more concrete here and displacement of the ground, the dirt, is simply going to add to the problem. The more concrete you have, the more flooding you're going to get. My neighbor often has to go and rake the debris off of that storm grate when we have a storm or a lot of rain. This is a residential neighborhood with children walking to and from school. Where have you heard me say that before? People should be allowed to do what they want with their property. However, this variation should not be approved. This is a residential neighborhood. I don't know exactly whether he needs storage for cars and vans. I don't know really what he wants it for. But this can open up a huge can of worms. In Old Wheeling, there are an awful lot of homes that have very short driveways. I have one. In the olden days, my father used to drive his big Oldsmobile onto the side of our garage on the grass just to water the car because he couldn't put it on the driveway. It wouldn't fit. I can see that if you allow this variation, there could easily be other residents in the immediate neighborhood asking to have pads put alongside their garages. So I urge you seriously to deny this petition. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak on this subject? No. So if you could come back up, please, sir. We will go to the Plan Commission now. Commissioner Dorban.
Thank you. I have a couple questions. First of all, Ms. Stogopol made a comment about all the vehicles on the driveway. Can you explain to me, if there's 2 people there, why are there...
My father is the only one who drives. He wants the van sometimes that he wants to use. He was a mechanic for 40 years. Right now he is about 75 years old, or 77 or 8. I would prefer that he would not work on cars, but I think that if he has a car, I would never, I mean, personally, I would not like to have someone else work on my cars, especially if they're older, and I know what a car is, and my father or anybody else, as a fact, if he is trained to do something and that's all he knows to do, if you take that away from him, that is a big, I don't know how to say it, but it's something that you can't really do to a person. I mean, like, if you train a branch to grow one way, if you try to bend it the other way, it'll break. It'll do something else.
I understand what you're saying, but it sounds to me like your father is working on vehicles that don't belong to him, and belong to other people, it
No.
sounds to me almost
That
like
is
he's got
not
a
a-
business going on in
That
your
is not a garage there. He works only, and if he does work, usually right now, he sends his cars out to mechanics if he needs to have something done to his car, and I don't like that either. He spends a lot of money, but no, he is not running any kind of business there, repairing cars.
You said, you were alluded to the fact that you were not well either and that you needed to come into this house, but you don't live there. Or do you live there? I'm a little confused.
I do not live there, but my mother is elderly and my father does not speak English and he does not know where to take my mother. I have to take her to any place that she needs to go, visit a doctor appointments, any other stuff that I need to take her, I need to do that. And if I need to put her on a wheelchair, it is very difficult to drag her up the steep driveway, or if the garage door doesn't open as well.
Well, you indicated that there's something with the garage door. Have you tried to have it repaired?
Yes, many times.
And you can't?
No, what happens is it's gonna get repaired and then breaks again. If it's not the garage door, it's the garage door opener. If it's not the garage door opener, it's the mechanisms.
I was by there today, and I realize it's a steep incline, but you have the patio bricks there. You have it appears that it extends beyond the house.
Those patio
And
bricks.
is your intent to extend it not only from where it is currently and behind the garage, but around the corner to meet your patio?
No, it is only behind the front of the house where is the flat surface. Just
But why do you need more? I mean, you've already got this,
Because-
I'm confused.
because I have two in the front of the garage doors, and then one is to drive to the flat surface area.
But
If I could interject.
the parts in front of the garage really aren't that steep. I guess when
If
I
you
was
like-
there, I didn't see that they were that steep that you couldn't get in and out of a vehicle.
If you like, you can go ahead and try to park it and put your car in park and see how it feels if you take it out of park and put it into a gear, how it knocks into the drivetrain.
You
what
have a
kind of
two-car
noise.
garage. Why do you not
Correct.
utilize both?
One is utilized and the other one is for any other storage areas that my father has, and any repairs that he does to a house, that's where he,
How many vehicles does your father have? Because Mrs.
My father has
Douglas
four.
alluded to the fact that there's like several vehicles.
four cars.
Your
Three.
father has 4 vehicles
Correct.
himself.
Correct. And I have about 10 personal vehicles.
You have how many?
10 vehicles.
And do you park them there as well?
No, but if I need to come over there, I come with a vehicle. And if I park in front of the house, I usually set up the medication for my mother and eat something, and it's already 2 hours, and I'm afraid I'm gonna get a ticket over there usually.
You also talked about putting a fence up?
Yes,
And-
I do have a permit already. It's a 6-foot private fence, board on board, and it's gonna be the front and the side, 2 8-foot sections. I believe that would cover, because two sections would go beyond next to the garage of my neighbor, and I believe 1.5 section would go in front of the house.
The other question I have, if you put in a cement driveway like you're talking about, what it is now, at least the water can seep into the ground. If you make that a complete cement surface, there's no way that it's going to run off to your neighbor's house. I have some real concerns about pushing off that water onto your neighbor's house and having that home, whoever lives there, be flooded.
That's going to be about 2 or 3 feet of open area, grass, roots, and trees, 2 or 3 feet at least between the property line and the cement that I would put in. There's going to be open grass there. And I would prefer to have paver blocks or whatever my father put in, patio blocks or whatnot. I would prefer to be there as well, but village council prefers to have cement because the cement is existing already there.
I'm just having a real problem with the fact that, you know, part of this need for all these vehicles, it's self-inflicted. I mean, you've done this yourself by having all these vehicles, and you're also not using one of your garages, so
My father has so many vehicles because he has old vehicles. He cannot afford a brand-new vehicle, and if one breaks down and he needs to go somewhere, he needs to have another vehicle.
So he has to have 4 of them?
No, but one is a van, and one is antique, and one he drives every day. Because the antique, he doesn't have to register as often, just for emergency purposes.
I'm a little concerned about the fact that what you have already appears to be not sufficient, is what you're telling us, and you want to extend it.
If you like, you can try and park it on an angle and put it in a park and then take it out of park and see what kind of noise the driveway makes. And if you put a parking brake, the parking brakes don't usually work, or they will lock up your brakes sometimes. And even that does it on a brand-new car.
That's all my questions, thank you.
I would like to add also, pushing snow blower or picking dandelions, it is not pushing somebody in a wheelchair, because my father is elderly and I am very weak as well, and if something goes wrong, that wheelchair will tip, or that snow blower is just gonna vibrate and just go down the street or whatnot.
If I could just clarify one point that came up in Commissioner Dorban's questions. The paver driveway, there are two separate areas that are kind of in question right now. The front area, which is closest to the street, I believe, Mr. Gerba, you had said that the village had required it to be modified. I believe that is the case. What is done, the engineering inspector has indicated that the permit for this work would include concrete. There's an existing concrete drive, and I believe, and I'm not the expert on this, but I believe the village requires this to be a concrete because the adjoining section is concrete, and they would shift at different rates. I believe that's the case. So then the question as to what's there now versus what's being proposed. The petitioner is proposing essentially legalizing the portion that is there right now. So what you are seeing where the van is parked, that's the area that the petitioner is requesting the variation in order to keep. So they're not proposing beyond this area. The area where this van is the area that is in question.
So are you saying that if it's not approved, they would have to tear it out?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
I'm done, thank you.
Commissioner Schaaf.
Thank you. A lot of this, as I see it, is, as Commissioner Dorban has indicated, is self-inflicted. 4 cars for one person is quite a bit. You do have 2-car garage. That's level. I just don't see the need to store all those cars on the property. It's just, to me, is a bit much. It borders on a business, car storage, working on it. I'm not in favor of a residential area or a house in a residential area being a business. And those are my comments. Thank you.
If I may add to that, Mr. Norman Shepherd, the garage door, I most likely would not be able to drive a van into it. And if someone comes in again, like a friend or a family member, it is only 2-hour parking, and it's going to be very difficult for them to call in and say that there's going to be a car parked outside, that it needs to be parked, and if 2 hours to come and visit somebody, it's not a lot of time.
Okay, from personal experience, I have an old 40-year-old wooden door, double door. I've had 2 garage door openers. That's it. These things last. They don't go bad. You've got 2 single-car garage door openers on those garages, and for the life of me, I can't get past not being in repair. These things just, my experience is they don't go bad that often.
Mr. Norman, again, if I can ask you, if I have a family member come over, would I double park in that garage? Or do I move the storage area to the other side? Or can someone just park right next to the house and just, knock on the door?
That I can't answer. But I am not in favor of having a house in a residential area border on being a business. And that's, to me, what it sounds like. 4 vehicles or more, especially being worked on. You've got a 2-car garage there. Those garages are to park vehicles, not for storage.
So if you have an old car or anything, you need to drive it, or do you not collect
I
cars?
have 2 cars. I have a double car garage, and I park those cars in the garage. That's what that garage is there for. I just, the additional parking, I can't get past.
We need to look at this, when we're speaking, we need to speak to the variation and the standards for a variation. The personal nature of your discussions are great, but you need to stick to the variations and what they are looking for in the variations. So,
okay.
Anything?
If I may also add, I have a snow blower and a lawnmower, and if you put those things in there, one of the spaces are a little bit tight.
I have a 2-car garage, a snow thrower, a lawnmower, a workbench. No, it just doesn't, it doesn't fit. And the chairman has asked me to restrict my comments to the variation, and I'm having a hard time with that variation.
Mr. Norman, I believe you worked maybe from 15 years old, and I believe you pretty much got a decent amount of money working. Myself, I had a lot of hardships ever since I graduated college, and ever since then, I've been having much more hardships.
But that doesn't play to the variation.
Some people could have more money and buy a car that actually works, and you get in there, start it up, and go. If it doesn't work, you just buy another one. Some people cannot afford that.
But that doesn't play to the variation. That's my comments. Thank you.
Commissioner Stylin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Andrew, are there any side yard setback requirements for having, a driveway or whatever go? And it's hard to tell exactly on this plan where stuff is going to go, but how close to the property line is the pavement allowed to go, and how close does it go today? Do you know?
Our standard for allowing pavement, as far as I understand it, is it needs to be on the property. And to construct it, you are supposed to stay on your property in order to construct it. That usually means that the typical driveway is at least a foot off, so that you can keep all the construction-related equipment on your property. I don't know that there's a specific number, but I believe that's the standard, that you don't enter somebody else's property in order to construct the driveway.
And I would say for most other side yard areas that I have seen, I don't recall any ever going back behind the front, but the majority of the side yard type parking areas that I have seen are relatively narrow and very close to, the side of the house. It appears to me with this particular area, if you back a car down to the sidewalk, you could probably fit 4 cars in that area, not including the area where the petitioner is requesting a variance. I just think that, there's a lot of material here that doesn't necessarily need to be there. And as a matter of fact, if the concern was dropping off parents, picking up parents, that the slope is too great for somebody to get in and access a wheelchair, you could get by with just a small paved area up by the garage, pull in, kind of make a corner into that area, back up, so now that you're parallel with the garage doors. I don't know if there's an entrance from the inside of the house to the garage doors, but could bring somebody out in a wheelchair and have the van sitting on the side door open, ready for somebody to come in. I think there are ways to accomplish what the petitioner wants to accomplish without the necessity of this variation area. And I really think that the existing paved area, if you want to call it paved, I mean, those are more blocks or patio blocks maybe. I think that's a little exorbitant to begin with. Was there a permit for that to be
The petitioner
installed?
is actually, it was not installed with a permit. The petitioner has since received I believe the permit for the redoing the front area has been issued. Is that correct?
Yes.
You have, so you've received, so that permit is kind of on hold right now. He's been issued the permit to do the front part. The back part is what's in question. So you currently have a permit to reconstruct what is paver block with concrete. And it's roughly the dimension that you see. I think it's about 2 feet short, I believe. Do you know off the top of your head?
It's roughly about 9 feet, and I believe maybe about 5 feet to the property line. Now, if I go over the top, I believe it's 20 feet from the home to the property line. I'm not really sure where it is, but that's where the fence of the other property is. So I would require maybe 9 feet there to park instead of 20 feet. And the long part, I thought it was 9 feet, but I think, 6 feet, but I think 9 or 14 feet, I think the maximum is, where it's open, that area would be covered. And that existing is more steeper than the other two that go into the garage. And furthermore, where the construction could be, I was told that the fencing could go right on the property line. Now, I don't know if the concrete is the same or not, but the concrete has so much of gravel and it holds whatever it needs to hold water, but gutters, that's a different story, and that goes into the backyard pretty much.
Another thing is, you said that you were going to put in a fence and a gate.
That is a permit that I have already.
Is there a drawing on there where the fence and gate is going to go?
Yes.
Can I take a look at it real quick?
Where the car is going to be parked and the fence is going to be here. This is the two-car garage.
And this is the street here,
That is the
Center Street.
That's Center Street, and I guess that's sidewalk. There's not enough parking here, and there's one room here.
So the front of the fence is going to be
This is going to be the
parallel with the front of the garage, basically.
Yes, and there's a garage here of my neighbors, and so two sections are going to be here, and 1.5 to 2 sections are going to be here. And this is existing concrete, this is existing concrete, this is existing, and this is some kind of concrete as well. And so the only one that is going to be is right here.
Okay, maybe we could just pass the stones, take a look at them. I would, the front of the fence is going to be parallel to the front of the garage. And personally, I would like to see another fence area, permanent fence established along the rear, I'll just call it where the front of your car is going to be. And possibly, you probably should have a small walking gate there, but not a gate that's large enough to drive a car through.
I would have to double check because there's a door there that needs to be opened, so I could possibly put one section there.
And, my other comment is that this plan really doesn't show to my expectations what the real widths are, what's going to be there.
The width is 6 feet by 14. It says right here with the astrophy, and the
How, from the side of your existing garage to the property line, what's that width?
I measured that with 15 feet, I believe. It says 15 feet 36. I think that's the opening. So 20 feet is probably with the walkway there to the property line, I believe. So I would like to have 6 feet by 14 feet, and the existing is 15 feet of gravel or the pavers that are there right now.
And you don't feel like you can park on any of that existing concrete that's adjacent to the house?
That is a violation, and the inspector said that you can put it there, and I said no, but then he came in and he said, if you want on the steep hill, then you have to take out the pavers that are there and put grass there. And I said, but my father decided to go with the concrete as well, if we could, and he said, we can't do that, we have to go through a variation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had enough.
Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you. In that, Andrew, go back to the photo, please. Where is that van parked? Is that one of your father's vehicles back there?
Yes, that is.
And where is that parked?
That is on the side of the street, on the side of the.
It looks to me like it's in the back of the house.
Pardon me?
Looks to me like it's in the back of the house. It's past that
It
wall.
looks like it's a little bit further than, yes.
And I've seen an aerial photograph of two vehicles in the backyard. When I went by the other day, there was two vans. One of them had ladders or scaffolding on it. Is that also one of his vehicles?
No, that's not one of his vehicles.
Okay. How long has he owned this house?
My father owned it, I think, two years now. And he's doing repairs in there as well, like painting and shelving and stuff like that.
So it's just been within the last 2 years that the patio block
Correct.
side drive went in?
Floors.
Andrew, on this same photo, what is that diagonal line that's like
It's a guy wire
So
for
it
a
is
telephone pole.
for telephone pole?
Actually, could be overhead power, but it's a guy wire for a utility pole.
I'm actually surprised that it's there, being AT&T UVerse technician. It has both power lines that go north and south and east and west. I'm really surprised that piece of wire is there. I will try to contact ComEd and have him remove it because I think cutting grass or whatnot is not, it really doesn't.
Well, it may be the only thing preventing people from driving over it to get to that new driveway too.
I see another variance that I could park actually on the sidewalk. I prefer, I'm surprised that you could actually park on the sidewalk between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. I don't think that's a good idea because you could get your car scratched and there's not enough parking there overnight even, if I would.
You can't park.
Yeah.
You can't park between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. You can't park over the sidewalk.
10 p.m.
You can, at night, park over the sidewalk.
Yeah, I've seen it in other real villages.
Actually, I think it
And
might be
today
6 to
was
10,
actually first time I've seen that. It was,
not 10 to 6.
I was really surprised.
During the day, you cannot.
Right.
Any other questions?
Yes, it was in the newsletter. I can't find it now.
Okay.
What were you looking for?
The parking that on the sidewalk.
Oh, no, that is an ordinance. And after seeing that little drawing of the fence, I'm confused what the purpose of that L-shaped fence is.
I don't know if I read it correctly. When I got the email, it said that if you have a parking space next to a neighbor, that it is required to have a privacy or whatnot. And the next door neighbor has a garage next door. So it's
So
not
you're just
a
writing
house
it-
next to a house, it's a
You'd
house.
just be running it from the front of your house to as far as
One
their
car
garage?
space. Yes, and it's my house, that one space, and then my neighbor's garage, and then my neighbor's house.
And the front's going to be a gate.
Correct.
That seems like it's counterproductive to making it easy to get in and out of vehicles, because you'd be on the steep part, opening up the gate to pull your vehicle in instead of pulling into the garage.
Well, just for purposes, if I, let's say, I want to check my brakes or whatnot, I can close it and the tools are outside. Someone is not going to come up and, or if I'm snow blowing and I don't feel that I should put the snow blower inside, I like to put it somewhere. Or a shovel or whatnot. And if I know that someone is coming, I will open it and have it open and someone could park there. Or if I'm leaving or coming in, I'll leave it open.
I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Zangara.
I think Commissioner Johnson hit on the point I was going to hit on with the gate. If you got to stop your car and park it on a steep hill to open the gate.
If I, let's say, bring in groceries, I leave the car open, I don't close it, open and close it or whatnot, then I would feel kind of safe.
But that's a liability for the thing to swing all over the place, isn't it?
Well, usually the garage is in the back of the house, so you kind of pass, one car space and take your stuff in the back of the back, how do you say it, the backyard, pretty much, not the front of the yard. And I don't have that, all I have is the front yard. And as it was indicated, there are a lot of kids there and a lot of people walking there. It's pretty busy.
I'm not sure. I see a couple different options, but that's not what we're here for. So I think mainly everyone here has hit on the points that I was going to hit on, so I don't have too much. So that's about all.
Commissioner Powers.
I pretty much agree with what everybody said. I kind of like Commissioner Stylin's idea. For me, if you were going to have a fence, put a permanent fence towards where the van is, so there's no chance that anything could get back there. I can think of alternative things you could do to clean up. I don't know if you thought about possibly putting a shed in the backyard, moving some of the stuff back there. I just don't want to belabor it. I'm just really not in favor of it right now. Thank you.
Andrew, in the standards for a variation, the petitioner, number 5, mentioned something around 40% or so of driveways next to the houses in the area seem to have this. And then you comment that it's overwhelmingly the majority of the homes actually have a garage in the back. So the 40% is...
Sure, I don't have a number exactly how many of the homes have rear garages, but the purpose of that staff comment was just related to the petitioner's comment on that particular standard. There are certainly homes in the neighborhood that do have rear garages. That is far and away the primary reason that you have the driveway going past the house. There were a few. We did find some that do have an existing, what's now considered a non-conforming condition, but not very many. There were a couple. One that looked like maybe the garage had been demolished in the back. There was one where there was a corner situation where the other end of the property had a parking pad, but there were not very many. But certainly, as the petitioner pointed out, there are driveways to the rear, but those properties tend to have rear garages.
Okay. Then the 2-hour parking is unique to that area, correct?
Yeah, it's the only, to my knowledge, I believe that is a unique characteristic of that particular neighborhood.
And when a guest comes to visit and they park on the street, now, I know we probably set that 2-hour limit and things like that. Is that 24/7, the 2-hour? Well,
It's during the
you
day.
probably can't park overnight, but is it just during the day? I don't recall.
I don't recall
If I
either.
may add, I believe I just looked at today, it's from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m., 2-hour parking, and I believe there's no overnight parking.
Right.
And if there's snow over 2 inches, there's no parking at all.
Yeah, well, that's not unique. The snow over 2 inches is not unique to that area. The overnight parking is not unique. We have that throughout the village. So the 2-hour parking is unique. What happens if someone has a party in that area? During the week, it'd be tough to have, well, no, somebody could have a party during the week, I guess. And they have more than a few guests. What do they have to do?
I believe that you can call the police department. I think, as the petitioner mentioned, I think you do that on a case-by-case basis or as needed basis.
Okay.
I believe that is the case. I'm not 100% familiar with
That's
it.
what I was told by the engineer.
I'll have to talk to the, one of the ideas, and I think you may have lived in the city at one point or time, they have areas in the city that are permit parking. During the day, they're not, but after 5 o'clock, if you want to park on the street, you buy a packet of stickers, and you put them on a car. Excuse me, just hold on 1 second. You put them on your car, and they're good for that day. So it could be something, one, it's a revenue generator, and two, that takes care of the problem of having to call into the village. If you have guests over that need to park there, you put a sticker in the car, give it to them, and you can buy a booklet of them, something like that, that could take care of that problem. And then, so if the petitioner's looking for a variation, just so I'm sure here, putting it in my terms, the petitioner wants to replace all of the brick here, whatever that is, pavers, from the side. Well, actually, they probably would. Are they going to the, I don't quite understand, are they going to this street, or will they have to pull in and then pull over?
They would have to pull in and pull over, and the full width would be less than what you see. In order to replace what is currently there, when they convert it to concrete, it would be slightly narrower than what you see. I think it was a few feet narrower. Mr. Gerber, if you could correct me on that.
Yes, here it is going to be much narrower. What happens is you pull in here and park it here as a handicap parking, because I mentioned before, if I park it on the street here or on the other side, it is kind of difficult. And let's say if I park here on an angle, it is also difficult for a handicap, even if I put it on the other side. Then I have to like back it up, go in a bit like this. I don't know if that's like, side parking for handicap. Handicap should be accessible pretty much. And if I, let's say, pull in here, open the door, then I have a straight shot to the home. Whereas here, if I go the wrong way or whatnot, I have difficulty coming out sometimes. Sometimes I feel better, sometimes I don't. And it's on a steep angle if it's icy and stuff. And if I go park here, then I have to go up the hill with my mother on the wheelchair.
So, and I may have misheard, but Mr. Gerba has a permit right now to replace the pavers that are in front of the house?
Right here.
That's correct.
Right. But now he's asking for a variation to take it all the way to the back.
I don't know if you put it on the other side, it's right here.
Right.
And it's 15 here, and I would like to have it 6 by 14, I believe. New construction slab on flat surface. And then 9 by 20 on the steep is right here, 9 by 20. So this is the only variation that I'm looking for, is 6 by 14.
So if you look at this drawing here, where that rectangle is right to the left of the word garage, that's concrete.
Oh, this?
Yeah, what is that right there that you're
That
pointing
is
at?
concrete, yeah,
That's concrete right now.
correct.
Wow, okay.
This is concrete, this is concrete, this is concrete, this is not concrete. Right now, there are pavers there, and I need to remove it and put grass. And this is granted for me to put concrete on a stip. This is steep, this is much more steeper. And this is a sidewalk, and then there's grass, and then there's a street here. And there's trees right here, and they're not gonna be touched. One is probably 3 feet big, and two are maybe.
So in essence, we're creating one big, long drive to park vehicles.
This is gonna be the only parking.
Yep.
There's not gonna be any parking here or here.
But you have a continuation. Okay, that's fine. Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions?
I just have a quick one. So did he say he was doing concrete?
No, you can ask him. He's here still.
Did you say, did you say on the side of the existing driveway, right by the sidewalk, that rectangle down below, the square down below?
Right here,
No, I want that one right there.
Yeah.
You said you were already approved to put something there?
yes, that is correct. That is steep, that is more steeper than this.
So you still plan on doing that, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so you're looking for the extra little piece there?
This one, I would be happy enough just to drive 2 tires, but I was told that is illegal, and that stopped being illegal. It's the 1960s.
And just so I know, what is the area in the far southeast corner, that little pod? Is like a little walkway going to all the way in the back there? Yeah, what's that area?
I don't know what this was.
But that's concrete, isn't it?
Possibly it was a shed, and yes, that is a concrete.
Okay, all right, I have nothing further.
Any other comments?
There was one suggestion made by Commissioner Stilen relating to the fence segment shifting from the proposed location so that it would be behind or in front of a car. If a car fronted in, it would be shifted so that the vehicle would be facing the fence rather than have the fence be behind a vehicle. I don't know if there was I don't know that the other commissioners commented on that particular suggestion.
I feel like we can put both front and back. I would kind of prefer to be in the back sometimes, if you wash a car or whatnot, you have all the doors open, you want to air vent it or whatnot. I think, a nice breeze in there would be pretty nice.
Commissioner Dorban? The poll on the floor right now is Commissioner Stilen suggested a fence to the back
Here?
right around where the pointer is right now. And the petitioner has suggested a fence there, adding a fence there, and then also adding a fence on the, well, not adding, they have a permit for that fence right now in the front. Your thoughts on that, of adding a fence?
Are you talking about two fences?
Yes, yes.
So basically, where the block is there, we're talking about blocking that whole
Yes.
area in as a fence,
Yes.
fenced area.
Yes.
L-shaped. It's gonna be
No,
here and here.
No?
No.
Commissioner Sankara?
That's what he's got the permit for right now.
He's got the permit for the front one.
yeah.
He's got the permit for the front one. Commissioner Steinmetz suggested one towards the rear.
Which would be
Right there.
here somewhere,
Yes.
or here.
Just a fence with no gates to avoid any cars going.
Well, I would assume you would have to have some type
Oh,
of
man
gate,
gate, man gate.
walking gate,
Yes.
a walking
So
gate,
one section possibly.
right, of a walking gate, yes, right.
I would say yes, that avoids any more cars going further deep.
I think that's not even in one section because I believe 6 feet versus 8 feet. One section is 8 feet.
Commissioner Johnson?
As long as it prevents cars from going, being parked in the backyard like we've seen. Yeah, where exactly is your back entrance? Because obviously you're not going through the garage.
I believe
It's right
it could
about
be
there.
somewhere around here, I think.
You have, so you're still entering through the garage?
Yes.
Well, I'd rather see, get the garage fixed up and use that. But yeah, if we're gonna talk about the fence, I would say we need one in the back.
Because here, there's like 2 or 3 steps, and there's another 2 or 3 steps here. So these steps would be kind of difficult for me to pull in. I have entrance to the house from the garage, 1 small step and another 2 step. That is going to be converted into a flat surface so I could drive it with the wheelchair.
So you said yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Stalin?
Yes.
Commissioner Powers?
Yes.
And Commissioner Schaaf?
Yes, I would like to see the fence and all these fences, if there's going to be fences put in, on the drawing. I just don't visualize where this is, but I would like to see all these fences there.
The fences, I don't think are germane to the variation. I mean, they can be added, but they're not germane to the variation, correct?
Only to the extent that the standard for the variation and the reason for the particular code regulation is to prevent rear access. I think that I think that you can make a relationship that the purpose of the code could be met by adding that fence.
If I may add, what you call it, the garage kind of starts somewhere here, and it's about 6 feet high. That's why I want to put 2 sections, so it overlaps maybe 3-4 feet to the garage. And then here is open area, and this is the garage. So this has a chain link fence right now, but it's just that area because my father has a diesel. So a diesel does a clicking sound. It's not very loud, but that would kind of suppress it, I believe.
That sounds to me like you're parking back in there.
Yes, right here, because my father has a difficulty or on this steep hill, and when he parks there, and when you change the gears, it pops the drivetrain. And if you put the parking brakes on, sometimes they just stick, and you drive, and it.
So you want
burns
to park all the way in the back?
Pardon me?
You want to park all the way in the back?
No, just one spot here. Just this one spot.
So we have a consensus to put another fence in the back.
Permanent,
Permanent. Yes,
not big gate.
right.
The way that reads currently in this draft condition would be that the petitioner alter the fence permit to include an additional east-west segment to prevent vehicular access to the rear yard.
So do I hear a motion?
Motion approved with the conditions.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Powers, seconded by Commissioner Stylin. Mr. Secretary?
Commissioner Powers?
No.
Commissioner Stylin?
No.
Commissioner Dorband?
I don't believe they've met the criteria for the special use, for the variance or the special use. Therefore, no.
Commissioner Johnson, I say no. Commissioner Schaaf?
No.
Commissioner Zangara?
No.
And Chairman Ruffado?
No. Since this has been voted down, I would like to hear from each of the commissioners as to, specific to one of the standards for variation as to why you voted no. I'll start with Commissioner Dorband.
I think there's a number of reasons, and I can just go through. Do you want me to go through them, or you just want to?
If you can highlight the ones that you feel are, in your mind, most important.
Okay. I just feel that, well, I don't know how to put this. It's just that I feel that there's a number of issues within the variation that I don't think they've met the criteria for it. I just, in general, I don't think there's enough of a unique need specifically, and that's my reasoning.
Commissioner Zangara.
I just, I believe there's other ways to handle the issue, and they just have not met the variance of what we've been trying to discuss.
And if you look at the standards for variation, if you could be specific, there are 6 of them, and talk specifically to one of those, so the petitioner understands.
Well, I keep looking at number 4 of the
Okay.
when he has difficulty exit from car to a steep driveway. I mean,
Great. Commissioner Johnson?
I don't think they meet the hardship thing, other than the hardships that have been created internally there. So questions 1, 2, and 3.
Great. Thank you. Commissioner Stylin?
I'd agree, question 1, 2, and 3. I mean, the house has obviously been there for 30 years, or more. The slope of the driveway has been there for 50 years. I don't see it as a hardship. I mean, if the garage doors don't open and you can't get to the flat space within the garage, get the garage doors fixed. If you've got stuff stored in the garage and you can't use it for that reason, you do have a lot of concrete paving in the back that can be nicely used for a shed to store that stuff. So I think there are alternatives, and the hardship really, to me, hasn't been shown.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Powers?
Uses 1 through 3, I just don't think those have been met. And basically, the storage, there's other ways to remediate the issues, and that's why I believe that I would not want to go through with the special use.
Commissioner Schaaf?
Number 1 and number 3 are my basis. I do not believe that they have met those those hardships are self-inflicted.
Thank you. And in addition to those, I believe that the granting of this variation could alter I think, the character of the area. There are really as Commissioner, I elevated you, sir. Mr. Jennings stated that, that the majority of them in that area have drives back to garages, and probably those that weren't there were probably not permitted, and something that we would not allow in the future. Thank you. Motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
You'll have something to sign, sir.
So procedurally, what happens at this point, the Plan Commission is a recommending body. They hold the hearing, they make the findings on the standards, and they make a recommendation based on those findings to the village board. We then forward the recommendation to the board. You'll have an opportunity to speak to the board, and you can take the various items that they mentioned just now and try to answer that. And you do have the opportunity to request that the board approve this despite the negative recommendation of this commission. So we'll let you know when that date is.
Okay.
Thank you.
Everybody on side.
5-minute break, please.
Thank you.
Plan Commission is back in session. Calling docket number 2013-22, continued from the 10/10/2013 Plan Commission meeting without discussion. Garden Fresh Market Catering, 1774 through 1780 Hintz Road, special use site plan approval for a catering service. Mr. Secretary.
Docket number 2013-22, Dolan Moore, representative of Hintz Incorporated, property owner, is seeking special use site plan approval as required under Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19-06 Commercial Districts, Chapter 19-10 Use Regulations, Chapter 19-12 Site Plan Approval Requirements, and associated sections in order to establish a catering service at 1774 through 1780 Hintz Road.
Mr. Jennings.
No additional staff comments at this time.
The petitioner is here, I assume. Great. Could you raise your right hand and swear the testimony you give tonight to be the truth?
I do.
And if you could give your name and business address to our recording secretary, Mary, that'd be great.
Golan Moore, 390 Town Line Road, Mundelein, Illinois.
The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. 1774 Hintz has been vacant since about 2011. It was previously the Agora Cafe, and before then it was Sky Bar. Since its vacancy, any third-party interest has been quite minimal, largely due to the location of the unit, which is tucked away in the corner of the shopping center, so its visibility is quite minimal. In that time, Garden Fresh Market's catering business has also blossomed. It's blossomed to the point where the current capacity that we have at our stores can't handle all of the business that we could potentially get as we continue to grow. So we looked at this location as an opportunity to use as a catering kitchen, a central kitchen for our catering operation. Our intention is not to be open to the public. Our intention is to use it when the current capacity for the needs of our business exceed what we currently have in the stores. A little bit about Garden Fresh Catering. About 2 years ago, we were only doing pickups or deliveries for a buffet style for a couple dozen people. Since then, I've had the pleasure of having my wedding catered by Garden Fresh, and we've also, for the last 2 years, have done the Jewish National Fund's annual event, which is actually hosted at the Westin here in Wheeling, and that's an event where it's over 600 people. So we've expanded greatly, and currently we're doing most of our catering out of a 400 square foot kitchen located in Northbrook. So we think it's time to stretch our legs. And I just would like to add that I'm aware of at least 2 other event vendors in the village of Wheeling. You have Windy City Linens and Yanni Studio Design, which Yanni is a florist who also did my wedding. So we think that this catering kitchen will be a nice tie-in for the village. In addition to using the kitchen, the second purpose is that when we're bidding on a catering event, we frequently have tastings so potential clients can taste the food. Well, as we do it now, the tastings are done in the grocery store. It's loud and it's busy, and we haven't lost any business because of that, because our food really is outstanding. But we think that this location in Wheeling would serve as an appropriate venue. With that, that's pretty much it.
Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on this matter? No? Okay. We will go to the commissioners. Commissioner Schaaf.
Thank you. My only concern is liquor. I see here that you do not intend to go for a liquor license. Is that true?
That's true.
Okay. I think it's a good use for that particular area because restaurants just don't make it back there.
Correct.
Like you say, it's hidden, and I think a catering place would just fit in just fine. As long as there's no liquor, I'm all for it. Thank you.
Commissioner Stalin.
I don't know about the liquor, but, when you go in for food tasting, sometimes it's nice to have a little glass of wine, and I don't know if they need to have a license to give it away for free. I know you do to sell it, but, you don't charge people for your tastings, do you, or?
No, because the portions are usually very small, and you're sampling maybe 4 different entrees and 4 different appetizers. And we don't serve alcohol when we do a tasting now, so we don't see any need to serve alcohol for a tasting when we're in Wheeling.
I think it's a great opportunity for that store, I'll call it that area of the shopping center that has always had trouble. I think this will be a perfect addition to you and your store next door. I mean, I think it's a real natural. I wish you a lot of success, and I hope your kitchen grows, and I hope you have a lot of success. I think this is really nice. Thank you for doing this in our town.
Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you. One thing from the staff report, where are your delivery vehicles going to be parked and loaded and all that?
There's access in the rear, which is on the north side of the building.
How many vehicles are we talking about there?
One, maybe, one vehicle. If it's not a catering van, which is like a Ford Econoline, then it's I believe a 24-foot straight truck, which in that alley, Garden Fresh has 48, several 48-foot trailers throughout the day.
I think this is a good spot for it. I've been to events catered by you guys and do good job. Are the old Agora signs going to be taken down?
We'll take them down.
Okay. That's all I had.
Thank you. Commissioner Zangara.
I believe they had that garden out front or outdoor area.
Brick wall thing, yeah.
Is that little outdoor area? That's all part of the mall. That has nothing to do. I figure if you're going to have a tasting, you can have a tasting outside.
Well, we wouldn't utilize that. I think that was applied for by Agora at the time. We have no use. Maybe we would do a tasting outside if there's no problem with it with the village, but I don't really anticipate. I hadn't even thought about that, but it would be a nice tasting. But, I think we want to serve the food hot, fresh when it's outside the kitchen. I don't know that we want distractions necessarily.
And then I guess the only other thing I have, this will stay separate from the 2 separate bodies, the grocery store next to it, and then we're not putting anything to connect them together. You have to go outside back and forth.
Yes, we'd have to go outside.
And I agree with everyone else. I'm looking forward. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Powers.
Thanks. Okay, so the deliveries for the food and everything, that's going to be in the rear also?
Yes.
Okay, and you said there will only be one van and you wouldn't park it in the front, correct? Like, you wouldn't park it in the main parking lot in the front and
No.
Is it possible that we could put a condition that the vans will be parked in the back so we don't have any advertising going on, some other people are doing in there? Could we do that, or I don't know, it's just a suggestion.
To reinforce the code requirement, sure, to be clear. The language of that condition could either be that they be parked in the rear or away from the road if you do have a need to park it in the front.
But isn't that code?
To not use a vehicle as signage?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
It is code right now.
Okay. I have no further question. I think it's a good use.
Commissioner Dorbin.
I think this is wonderful. I think you've met all the standards for a special use, and I congratulate you and thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Just two comments, two questions. One, you're going to take down the Agora sign. Will you have signage?
On the awning like that, no, because we don't want to be open to the public. So I don't think there's a need for a sign over there. As far as making the address maybe a little more noticeable, no, I don't anticipate. What do you mean by a sign? I mean, we'll have something on the window, but...
No, a sign like Agora, replacing that with a sign that says...
No, because we don't want to be open to the public, and we don't want to bring attention
Okay, so...
we don't want people to approach the building and there's a locked door.
Right, got it. So as a condition that, and I hope the commissioner agrees, that the fascia is restored when they take it down to...
Both places.
Right, both places, exactly. Now, this picture here, is this Andrew, is this a current picture?
Yes.
Okay. Be honest with you, I didn't drive over there, and I haven't looked, so that wall is gone, everything that was gone?
There is some, I don't know about all of the wall, there's some of the wall here with a small wrought iron fence.
Okay.
Aluminum fence in front of it. And
So it's more decoration?
It is, it's a little bit difficult to see, but it does wrap, what direction? North as well. So it's fairly similar to what was approved, actually.
Okay, great.
It kind of blocks the dentist that's
back there.
tucked away in the back.
Right, exactly. All right. I have nothing else. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I do
Yes.
have one question. You said you've done catering for a 600-person. Can you get all that on one 24-foot truck? I mean, does it all fit?
The Weston, well, no, yes, on a 24-foot truck, yes, on a straight truck,
Wow.
absolutely. But that's just bringing raw material. At the Weston, we were fortunate enough to use their kitchen. For 600 people, we wouldn't bring hot, ready-to-eat food. We wouldn't travel with it, but to bring the supplies for an event, sure.
Great. Good luck. Thank you.
We have condition.
We have the one, it was just suggested that the existing wall signs are removed and the fascia is restored.
Okay, great. Any other comments? Do I hear a motion?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Stein, second by Commissioner Johnson. Mr. Secretary?
Commissioner Steilen?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson, I vote yes. Commissioner Dorband?
Yes?
Commissioner Powers?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaaf?
Yes.
Commissioner Zangara?
Yes.
And Chairman Morfado?
Yes. You'll just have something to sign.
Thank you.
Motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We'll be over for tastings Thursday night after.
It's fine, then we want to cater the village's events.
Oh,
That's a good idea.
that's not a bad idea.
No?
Free ice cream, free...
They did the synagogue's dedication.
Oh.
Did a great job.
Oh, thank you. Which synagogue was it?
Across the street.
Next.
Oh,
Sure,
that's a
Dash.
new one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Drop your card up there.
Can we have the approval of minutes of September 19th?
So
Fair.
moved?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can't sign and talk at the same time.
Approval of minutes of September 26th?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Other business? Mr. Jennings?
Thank you. As of this time, we had a continued hearing scheduled for next week. That hearing seems unlikely to occur We've reached out to the petitioner for that particular docket item, and it is not clear yet how they would like to proceed, whether they're going to modify the application as requested, or if they would continue the item again or withdraw the request. So as of this moment, it appears extremely unlikely we'll actually hold a hearing. We have, for November, we have a few items that are lining up. We look like our meetings are going to be relatively busy. We are anticipating a special meeting on November 7th. It is not 100% certain at this time how many public hearing items will be on that meeting. We are anticipating concept review of the plan unit development of the town center on that night. Through a poll of the commission, it appeared that there would be a quorum that evening, so we would like to proceed and schedule that meeting. We should know in the very near future from the petitioner on that item if they'll be able to make it. We do have one other public hearing item possible that night, and then we will have 2 additional meetings, the regularly scheduled meetings in November. At this time, I think there's been a suggestion made pending a motion tonight to have a landscape committee formed, and assuming that that motion is made and approved, the committee could conceivably hold a meeting next week without us having to publish. It could take a workshop slot on a regularly scheduled meeting. So if the commission would consider that, we can discuss that further after a motion is made to form that committee.
Okay. Has everybody responded to Mr. Jennings about November 7th?
Yes.
Yes.
I have not yet, but I'm okay with it.
Okay, great. So we do have a quorum. Okay. Thank you. So with that said, tying in the landscape, well, let's put it this way. Even if the petitioner, by some chance, is able to appear next week, that's the only thing we have on the agenda, we could still have the workshop anyway. So if after we make the motion for establishing this, I think that would be a good idea. I know that would be a good idea to have that as the initial kickoff for the landscape subcommittee. So with that, is there anything special we have to do on this motion, Mr. Jennings?
Prior to making the motion, what I'd suggest, based on what I did go back and review what our attorney sent us the last time around. Commissioner Dorban, I believe, is chairing the committee if it is formed. So what I would suggest is just defining the purpose of the committee when the motion's made. For the purpose of, my understanding is it is related to determining direction and making some recommendations relating to landscaping requirements in the village. So if there's a more specific way to phrase that, I would leave it up to the commission. But I think that when a committee is formed, it seems like the requirement is to do it at an open meeting on a motion on the floor, and some specific task for the committee should be defined. So other than that, I would say I would leave it up to the commission at this point.
I'm trying to put some words around that, what you just said. Determining direction. Are we talking plans? Or are we talking, well, we're talking plans that are submitted to the commission and then forwarded on to the board, and then also content of those plans, correct? So how do we word that? Does anybody have any ideas? Determining direction.
I would like to see us look at some of the code too, some of the ordinances, to see if there's stuff we feel needs to be beefed up in there by possibly looking to see what other people, municipalities are doing and see if we would benefit by adding any of that language to our code to possibly strengthen it.
Can you make a motion to beef up?
Motion to beef up, yeah. Landscaping Subcommittee, Plan Commission.
Pam, you got any ideas?
Got a lot of ideas, but I have to get them all down in more thought. I mean, I can't, I mean, there's specific things I would like to see, especially, you know, having specifics, you know, percentages. I like that, what we did with the streetscape before, so I'd like to see that implemented too, that we started. Is that what you're referring to?
No, we're trying to put some words around, almost like a charter of what will be the outcome of the landscape subcommittee.
Oh.
How about something to the effect that, you know, we'd like to improve the visibility and documentation that we offer to petitioners to give them some better guidance as to what we expect, come up with some definitive plans to, such that our presentation to the village board is maybe a little bit more professional than it might have been in the past, and then to look at other potential things to maybe make ordinances easier. Does that sound reasonable, Pam?
I mean, I don't know what you're looking for as far as wording. I mean, you know, I know what our ultimate goal is, to make sure that we, you know, we make life easier for our petitioners and for us and for Andrew and Brooke, but I don't know how you want to word that.
I think based on the things I've heard, just drafted something up. Motion to establish a subcommittee for the purpose of researching modifications of the village's landscape requirements, including guidance for application expectations, minimum submittal standards, and potential code amendments.
Amazing.
Sounds like you've
Pretty good on that.
wordsmithed that pretty well.
Are you sitting in a lawyer's seat?
Maybe half in it right now.
5-year project, so
That sounds good. I like that. So if you could repeat that so that we can make a motion to establish a landscape subcommittee.
For the purpose of researching modifications of the village landscape requirements, including guidance for application expectations, minimum submittal standards, and potential code amendments.
So motion, do I hear a
So moved.
I'll second.
voice
Voice
vote?
vote is adequate.
A motion by Commissioner Schaaf, second by Commissioner Powers. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Okay, great. All right. Excellent. Thank you, Andrew. Other business. Commissioner Schaaf.
Well, one, I'd like to serve on that landscape committee, but I won't be here next weekend. We are planning to travel out of state now that the doctor has given Helen the go-ahead to do that. There was a question in my mind. Are we allowed, or do we have any leeway as far as ownership of property when a petitioner comes before us, Andrew? I'll just take an example. The Hintz Group that owns that shopping center on the corner of Old Buffalo Grove Road and Hintz Road where Garden Fresh is. Do we have any leeway as to who makes up that ownership? Can we even ask that? Are we even permitted to ask something like that. Specifically, is Garden Fresh or the people that own Garden Fresh, are they part of that Hintz group?
Oh, that's a good question.
I believe they are, and I don't think there's anything inappropriate inherently about asking that question.
Oh, okay.
The public notice identified him as a representative of Hintz Incorporated, owner.
I'm sorry, Don, what?
The gentleman that was before us.
Yes.
Was listed as a representative of Hintz Incorporated, property owner.
Oh, okay, so he identified himself as part of that Hintz group, okay.
Yes.
I was just wondering how much leeway we have in establishing ownership and things like that.
The owner is typically identified, whether by name or by association, in the application materials. We, I believe, have a section of the staff report where we talk about change of owner if the applicant would be the future owner. But sure, I don't think there's anything inappropriate about asking.
But it should be relevant to the special use.
Yes. Yeah, and the relevancy would be moving into that, and he owns that shopping center. Now, whether that has a bearing on the special use, I don't know.
They probably have a better relationship with the landlord.
Yeah, it's always good to have a good relationship with the landlord. I agree.
That's probably the son, so.
Yes.
But they might buy a lot of merchandise from their next door neighbors.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Sure.
Anything else?
No, thank you, that's it.
Commissioner Powers?
Yeah, finally looks like Starbucks is moving a little bit, so that's some good news, I guess. And thank you for the invitation. I did attend the adjudication hearing a couple weeks ago. It was pretty informative, so appreciate that. That's it.
Mr. Stadler?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Commissioner Johnson?
Nothing.
Commissioner Zangara?
I have nothing, thank you.
Commissioner Dorband?
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. We did have two things on our, did you have other business?
I don't think so.
I don't know who this was from.
I would assume the Economic Development Department planted that.
Okay. And then there was also something for the Restaurant Row Taste of the Town.
Yes.
Okay. That was here too. Does anybody know, I would assume there's a charge for this?
Yes, $30.
Okay. Thank you. Is it similar to the ones in the past?
Yes, they've changed the name from Putting on the Ritz to Taste of
that's
the
right.
Town. I'll be able to get you some more information later, but I just wanted you to have that now.
Okay. Motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.